that somebody can win a championship in their home city. It's a rare feat. Our guest here today, he was able to do that in 1998. Sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
Hey, I'm Chad Haydon, state champion 98 at 103 pounds, Franklin County High School.
And of course, I believe the Flyers, correct? Is that correct?
The Franklin County Flyers.
That's what I thought. And if memory serves, and I could be off a little bit, but isn't Franklin County High School and where the dungeon used to be about 3 miles away, 3-4 miles away from each other?
It's pretty close to that, right?
Okay, that's what. And it's pretty much a straight shot, isn't it? There's like maybe 1 or 2 turns you got to make.
Yeah, right down the Thornhill bypass, pretty much.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's been, of course, the dungeon no longer exists. We'll talk about the dungeon here just in a minute, but when we get there. But you are a 1998 graduate, so wrestling in Kentucky had been around for about 35 years, give or take. How do you get into wrestling, man? How do you find it? What's the spark that gets you into it?
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of it was Coach Wolf, Gene Wolf. He was the coach of Franklin County, and I guess he was looking for some lightweights, and I was definitely one of the smaller guys around in school. And I remember I'd go down the hallway, and Coach would follow me down the hallway and talk to me about wrestling, and I would go, "Man, what is this guy talking about? Like I'm too little to be doing this, whatever." Didn't realize it had weight classes, anything like that. I never really heard much about wrestling at the time, and he followed me around every day for it seemed like months. And I started ducking him. I'd go upstairs so I didn't have to go past his classroom, and I'd hide from him and stuff. And finally one day I decided just to go and practice one day, shut him up, and then never go back. And I got there that day, and I had a good time, and I never left. So
I understand.
That's pretty much how that went.
Were you a freshman when that happens?
Yeah, I was a freshman. It's probably, I don't know, I'd say October my freshman year, maybe somewhere in there.
Okay, so what would that have been? 98, 97, 96? So what,
that
1995? Okay.
Yeah.
1995. And of course, as it is, this is June 3rd, 2025. You are Franklin County's only state wrestling champion.
Yeah, I am.
There's been several Franklin County wrestlers that have placed. There's been a couple recently that have been in the finals, but you're the only Flyer that's been on top of that podium, man. And that's a pretty good accomplishment. There's been a lot of the Franklin County football teams had some success recently. They made it to the state championship football, I believe 2020, I believe was the year. They've had some really good, not just Franklin County, but Western Hills had the young man that played at Nebraska now is with the Giants.
Wandale.
Yeah, Wandale Robinson. Yeah. There's been just all kinds of great talent come out of Franklin County, but man, you can say you're the best wrestler. How does that feel all these years later, man, to know that of everybody that's come through, you're the only one that's been on top?
Well, I want to say, first off, I don't think I'm the best wrestler to come out of Franklin. I think there's several other guys that have claim to fame on that. I am the only champion. I will give you that, but I won't necessarily say that I'm the best. I think there's been a few guys that have really shown out last few years, and I'm willing to pass that torch off and say, go with it, guys. I want to see another champ. We're ready to see it. That being said,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, that being said, I am proud to be the only champ, but I sure would like some company. I'd like to see it happen.
And you just said, wanting some company on top of that hill, the Franklin County State Championship hill. So many guys over the years that programs have either kind of fell off or just fell into the wrong hands, if you will. And across the state, I'm not going to single anybody out, but they have said it that now that teams are starting to come back, maybe some interest is picking back up. They're getting elementary teams or middle school teams, and they're like, come join me. Be at the top with me. There's plenty of room here. I would love to see your name on the same banner. I'd love to see your name in our gym. I'd love to see you do a review video with myself. And that's something that the younger Franklin County wrestlers watching this, we know you're going to watch this, is be on top with Chad. Right?
That'd be great. Love to see it.
I got you, man. So let's talk about your 1998 bracket. And this, your part of the bracket might be the hardest bracket that we have found. There's been it's been scattered out between the top and the bottom half. 1996 was a really good year. I think 97 was one of the other years we had. But your part of the bracket, now listen to the names here, guys. You had just in your, this was the era of district tournament, region tournament, then the state tournament, and of course our state 16. Tournament was 16-man bracket. Perfect. So just on your side of the bracket, now listen to this. You had Jason Davio from Scott, who, oh, by the way, went on to be a 2000 and 2001 state champion, and we want to say rest in peace to Jason. Neil Crawford from Seneca went on to be a 2001 state champion. Tim Whitfield from Fern Creek was a 1999 and 2000 state champion. And then you. So there was what? 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 6 individual state championships, not wrestlers, just championships total, in your bottom part of the bracket. Now, before we go any further on that, you're just a little bit older than me, a couple years. Do you remember how you got the bracket? Did you go on the internet and be able to pull it off like that? Or were you able?
No, it was on a program. Now we may have got one leading up to it, but I remember seeing it on a program, and I was gonna bring this up. It was a funny story when we first got to the tournament. Somebody found a program on the ground, and someone ahead of time had gone through like an NCAA bracket, and they filled it out, and they had me finishing 5th. And I said, man, at the time, honestly, my goal, that was my first state tournament. My goal was to place. So I was like, well, that wouldn't be too bad, but it was a little extra motivation to see, Joe Blow down the road thinks that I'm a 5th place guy. We'll just see about that. We'll see how that works out. But no, I can't recall exactly. I want to say maybe we knew what the bracket looked like beforehand, but definitely it wasn't like the days of the internet where you pull it up and right away everything, all the draws and everything like that.
The reason I asked that is we're trying to narrow down like years, because the guys from 2000 state tournament, several of them have said they was able to get on the school computer, home computer, pull up, and like 1999, some guys are like, they're kind of like, maybe we did, maybe. So we're somewhere in the 1999, 2000 range is when we think that the online bracket started. So we're trying to get that lined out. But
yeah, I would think I don't remember in 99. I don't remember that in 99 either. Either year, my junior or senior year. So
okay, but good information to have.
Yeah.
Your first round, you start off wrestling Brandon Cole from Union County. You win that by a 10-2 decision, and I believe Brandon is a good friend of the channel. The name Brandon Cole is a common name, but I'm pretty positive that's our buddy from. He coaches now at Henderson County. He's doing a good job out there with that program. All that Henderson County crew's doing a really good job. So you go on to the second round, which would be the quarterfinals, and we're going to butcher your name. We apologize in advance.
Yeah.
But you're wrestling, I believe it's first name is Scott, and I believe the last name is pronounced Waltish. I done
that sounds close.
a Google Translate or Google Speak, and that's what it come up with was Waltish. So Scott, 1998-103. We apologize if we said your name wrong, but you gotta blame Google Translate or Google Speak or whatever for that one. But nevertheless, man, you win a very close 8-7 decision.
Very close match. That one I remember it was tied. I was on top, and Coach Wolf told me to cut him with about 30 seconds left, and I not a big takedown guy. I was a lot better riding and that sort of thing. And if I watched the video, years ago, I remember just the look of disbelief on my face that Coach said cut him, and I cut him, and I managed to get a takedown with about 10 seconds left, and that's what really got me through. Honestly, none of this ever would have happened had it not worked out that way. But that was certainly a close match.
And Scott goes on to get third place that year, and also Trinity, the St. X crowd's going to boycott me. St. X goes on to be the team champions that year. So
they won the team title with no champions that year. Actually,
they're the only team in history. Champ. Yeah. Well, and not just that, they didn't have anybody in the finals either.
Right.
Yep. So they're the only team in history. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Scott got third. You may have already hit on that, but yeah, Scott got third. I do remember that.
Yep.
I think first, third, and fifth place. Of course, we only placed 6 back then. Mm-hmm. They all came off that side of the bracket.
Everybody but Tony Perry. Tony come in fourth, and Tony was in the finals in 99 and 2000 and come up short both times. So Tony was on my Mount Rushmore of best wrestlers to not win a state championship. You had Jason Davio come in 5th, Johnny Williams from Caldwell County come in 6th, Tony come in 4th, and Scott come in 3rd. So you had a heck of a gauntlet there. But you get to the semis. You're wrestling Jason Davio from Covington, Scott. We've mentioned him already, 2-time state champion. And we do want to say again, Jason tragically passed away on us. Complications he had from just a horrific car accident. And we've done a memorial video for Jason. But you actually get a fall over Jason, 1 minute and 53 seconds. So had you wrestled Jason before?
Yeah, I think I've wrestled him twice earlier that year. I know one was at the WCI Woodford County Invitational finals, and the other one I believe was at the Danville Invitational, but I might be mistaken there. Yeah, we faced each other twice earlier the year.
I got you. So you're in the finals. You're wrestling. I believe his last name's pronounced Grimmy. Is that correct?
That's what we always said.
Yeah. You're wrestling Mike Grimmy from Campbell County. Now you're coming in to the finals with a record of 35-4. He's coming into the state finals with a record of 34-3. Now, of course, we're not going to tell you the score, but had you wrestled Mike before? I
had not. I vaguely remember watching him wrestle Drew Carmen the year before, maybe in the quarters or something like that. But that's the only time I really seen him.
I understand. Now, normally we ask this question for especially the dungeon era and when it was at Atherton, but especially for you. You are, from Franklin County. And you don't have to go into specifics, but I would have to imagine your house couldn't be too far away from the arena, correct?
Yeah, no, probably about 8 miles.
Okay. Now, after you win that semifinals match, do you go straight home? What do you do?
Yeah, I think we were saving energy at this point. Probably went back to the house and relaxed for a couple hours maybe, and then and came back and got ready for the finals.
There's been so many guys that in the Atherton era, or I guess the Louisville era from 1964 to 1995, they said they would go home or go to somebody's house that had cooked, like spaghetti or pasta or made, something with much carbs in it, get you hyped up. Or even at the dungeon, people maybe not from the area, some of the Woodford County guys said they would go back home. Lexington guys would go back home for a while. But with you being right there, I mean, that's got to feel great, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I grew up in the area. We would go into the dungeon there for different events and stuff as kids, and yeah, I thought it was really special, and I really thought it was a neat environment and really well suited size wise for the tournament. Kind of gave it a kind of a homey kind of vibe, and I don't know, maybe I'm just partial to it, but yeah.
So many people around our state, from the Mississippi River to the mountains of Pike County to the Ohio River in northern Kentucky, all the way down to everywhere in between to the Tennessee border. There's so many new teams, high school teams, elementary and club teams, middle school teams that are just starting wrestling that didn't really know about the dungeon the way the atmosphere was until the series come along, and now they're like, I would love to have been to a state finals at the dungeon. That's what I tell everybody that didn't get to go is there's certain things in sports or life in general that this is a big deal. Like when you watch back when Mike Tyson was fighting, you knew anytime Mike Tyson was on pay-per-view, this is a big deal. You know what I mean? Or when the UFC's in Las Vegas, they got all the stars. This is a big deal. When you were at the dungeon and those lights started coming down and the spotlight come on the mat and all that, you knew this is a big deal. You know what I mean? This just feels special, right?
Absolutely.
And so, did you have like a lot of family come being so close? A lot of classmates?
I did. I was gonna hit on that. I actually had several family members. They're dead now, and they came down and watched. And believe it or not, my wife and I, we went to the same high school, but we never dated. And she actually came down to watch my finals match. I think her and her sister came down to watch. And years later, we've gotten married and had family and everything. I think that's pretty interesting that she managed to come down there and see that. So that's kind of special, knowing that, looking back on that.
Yeah. And we might hear her in the video here or see her or something. You know what I mean? You never know.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Never know. So, man, we've talked enough about it. Let's get it pulled up here. And there we are, the 1998 state finals at the dungeon under the lights. Now, you are in the solid, like, navy blue singlet, and Mike
Correct.
Is in, like, the under the lights. It does look navy blue, but believe me, it's purple with a gold, like, stripe there on the side. So, has it been a while since you've seen this, man?
Yeah, well, actually, up until you sent it to me, it's been about probably over 20 years since I've seen it. So, yeah, it may take me a minute to recall some of this stuff here.
No, that's kind of the fun of it, is watching guys that haven't got to see it in a while, see their true reaction to something they may not mentally, like, I don't remember that, or that's the way that happened, So, man, here we go. All right, so from neutral here, you said earlier maybe not the best on your feet, but what was your go-to takedown?
Either low outside or a double leg.
I got you.
I think we set up a low outside there just then.
Mm-hmm. You had a pretty nice shot right there.
We got our single here.
Yep.
I think we kind of duck back under here and finish off.
There it is. So you get your two.
Yeah. So now we got our two. I'll tell you what I was looking for here is in the semis, I got Davio in a cross-face cradle. So I was kind of working that. And at just about this point, when I get him broken back down, he kind of flops his hips down and turns them away from me. And I just near leg lift and just turk him right there.
I got you.
I may have jumped the gun there, but
now, if you never got to go to the dungeon, I had to turn the volume down because it was just too. I wanted the whistle start and all that. But do you remember hearing the crowd, how loud it was, or were you just zoned in?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And I tell you a funny story. As hard as I was on Woodford County all those years, their whole crowd in there, they were really rooting for me, man. I guess they were battling St. X for the team title. They were glad I helped them out along the way, I guess. But there's the near leg lift. Yeah, you could hear the crowd. You definitely could. I could hear them chanting and all that.
Yeah. Let's see here. So you've got a takedown and you've got a set of near fall in the first period, man. You got to feel good about what you've been able to do so far.
We're feeling real good. Feeling like we're in real good position right here.
So that's the end of the first period.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure coach is over there yelling at me because I had a lead like this in the district finals, and I actually ended up getting caught in the third period and a cradle was stuck. So I didn't win districts the year I won state. So I don't know how many people have done that before, but it's probably not too often.
I was going to say the list is very short. All right, so we get a caution there on top, little anxious,
little jacked up, I think here.
Yeah, I understand, man. I get it. All right, so you was riding him pretty well in the first period. You're on top here again. Did you wrestling him just this little bit? Did you kind of pick up? Okay, I know I can't get this, but let's try this instead. Or was that turf working for you? Or?
Well, I think I went back to the well one too many times, got myself in a bad spot here. But I thought I did a good job with the wrist control. And I ended up getting myself a little bit out of position here, and probably should have stayed a little more under control. I think, I had a habit, and this is only my third year of wrestling. I had a habit of getting a little jacked up and a little bit too aggressive or a little too, risk when it really, not a need to be risky at this point. But
I understand, man. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, so you kind of disengage and cut him, which I think was a smart play right there. So you're up now 5-1.
Yeah, he just dumped me there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was a smart play by him.
Get the takedown there, but he dumped me there, and I'm lucky I'm out of bounds on this right here. To be honest with you.
And for those asking and those wondering, out of bounds rules were completely different than what they are from 1998 to 2025. So don't blame the referee there for a bad stoppage. That's just the way the rules were back then, guys. You're trying there for that switch?
Yeah, just trying to get a little separation. I hit a stand up and I just dropped straight back into that. I don't know what exactly I was doing there.
Let's see. Looks like you're trying to maybe pull an arm through, get like a butcher or a bundle or barbed wire or something, but he's able to. All right, so that's the end of the period. It's going to be your choice, and you take down. You look over at your corner. What's your corner telling you right here?
He's probably telling me not to do anything really stupid right now, to be honest with you.
A lot of coaches do the point to the head. Hey, use your brain right here. What are you doing?
Yeah. Keep the pressure on. That was a big thing. Try to keep moving.
Yeah. And he's doing a good job right there with that bar not locking his hands. That was the first when I was getting your video ready. I always watch them through. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, man, he's doing a really good job not locking hands. And
so I think I actually got a stalling called on him here at this point.
Yep, you did, because he didn't take you back down. That's exactly right. I don't know if Van Camper would agree with that, but
he's getting ready to get a 5-on-2, I think, here in a second. I don't know, is the video lagging for you right now?
He's trying to pull get a bar there. Do a good job. All right, so we're out. We're neutral. So now the score.
Yeah, I think I can say I think it's a little less than a minute.
Yep. He's got a front headlock there, but he doesn't look. You don't look to be in danger. He's trying to pull that arm through, but you're circling. Same thing. Nothing yet.
Yeah, at this point with the time, I'm kind of content being right there and just letting the clock roll. You know.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Smart. We're back up. We're neutral. Back to our feet. Back to our feet here. Nothing. You're doing a really good job of. You look over at the clock, and there it is, man. You win by final score 7-3. Boom, there it is. State champion. And here's the there you are climbing to the top.
Yeah, pretty sweet warm up there, huh?
Sure. So, man, watching that one back, you wrestled like somebody that had been wrestling in state championship matches their whole life, because you didn't look, at least from the video, you look calm, look like you'd been there before, look like you really didn't do anything or try anything that you just wasn't sure on. Am I off basis on that, or is that just the way that you went about it?
No, we had a simple game plan pretty much through my entire wrestling career. I'll say that I never was a super technical guy, but we did a lot of simple things, and we did them hard, and we did them as good as we could. And you know, it worked for me. I mean, it may not work for everybody, but that was our strategy. We didn't have a lot of time. I started my freshman year. I didn't really. Didn't have the elementary school program. I didn't have all that, bringing up, learning the technique. Right. So, I had to pretty much kind of pick a few things that I liked and what I thought worked for me and just go with them.
Man, I understand. And it worked for you. And kids, when I say kids, I'm talking to high school aged wrestlers on down. You don't need to learn 87,000 techniques. There's people going to camps, and there's nothing wrong with going to camps. I'm not saying anything about going to camps or anything like that. But the problem is you'll see a move, you'll see somebody do it. Maybe you're paying attention. Maybe you're talking to somebody you met from another school. You're not really getting the full gist. And you'll see it, not practice it any, and then think you can hit it in a match and get stuck. Have 4 or 5, 6 moves that you are just absolute hammers on, whether that's takedowns, turns, escapes, whatever. Get 4 or 5 or 6 that nobody can stop you on, and then throw in something you may want to try and practice, or maybe you go to a tournament maybe a duel, and you're doing some exhibition matches, whatever. Try it there. Don't try it when you're competing for a state championship. Be like Chad and just stick what got you there, right?
Yeah. Worked for me, right?
And that's Uncle Alex's advice to the new wrestlers. Now, there's a lot of great photos over the years of professional sports teams, Olympic champions, Olympic medalists come back to their hometown, have like a big parade, or like in high school, around the state, around the country, the big thing is when like a school wins a regional championship or a state championship, they'll get escorted, fire trucks and police and all that. Did you get like a escort from the arena to your house or back to the school? How did it go?
we didn't do a whole lot. We had a good little celebration there, and had a pretty calm night that night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, I was gonna say that would be something to get, like, a fire truck escort from the arena to your school or to your house, whatever afterwards. You'd be one of maybe a very few that could do that. Get an escort like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I wasn't going to tell this story, but actually, it did get me out of a speeding ticket about a week or a month later, maybe somewhere in that neighborhood. The cop pulled me over. He said, "Man," he said, "are you that wrestler from Franklin County?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Have a nice day." So, hey, I got one. He said, "Everybody gets one." So,
hey, that's awesome, man. That's a good story. That's great.
It's a shame they used it up back then.
Yeah, for real. And like I said, that was before you were famous, back before social media. You know what I mean? So you must have made an impact on the Franklin County community. Now, of course, that year you were a junior. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about your senior year a little bit.
Right.
1999, 112 pounds. You come in sixth place. You wrestled Davio in the finals in 99. Semifinals, I should say.
Semifinals, yes.
And he wins a 4-3 decision on you. Jason would go on. He got beat that year by Isaac Knable from St. Xavier. Went on to be a 4-time state champion. As I get a drink of water here. Got a little dry there for a second. Don't know what happened. But then, man, like I said, you come in sixth place. You wrestled Neil Crawford from Seneca in the 5th-6th match. Of course, Neil was a 2001 state champion. So, man, an excellent career. 2-time All-Stater, 1998 state champion. For only having 4 years of wrestling, man, you made a lot out of it. You know what I mean? You made the most of what you had to work with, pretty much.
Yeah, I think so.
And so, man, I think we've covered about all we got here. Is there anything else you'd like to say or add, take away, anything that we may not have covered, man? The floor is yours.
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Well, I got you, man. And we've been trying to get this lined up for a while. Life. Sometimes priorities are, as they should be: family, career, all that kind of stuff. And if you can squeeze me in for 35, 40 minutes, I know I appreciate it and everybody else does. But we want to say thank you to Corey Cardwell for getting us together. And I believe also Chad Greenwell may have had a hand in it. If I'm not mistaken, he may have got us lined up. So thank you to those two guys. And I know the Franklin County wrestling community, or the Franklin County athletic community, is going to appreciate having this, and the wrestling community as a whole in Kentucky, especially it feels like people really enjoy the videos that are like 20 years and older. You know what I mean? Especially at the dungeon. The dungeon was just such a special atmosphere, and a lot of the names that have come out of the dungeon that wrestled there, man, you're on that list, man. So again, thank you for doing this, guys. Thank you all for watching. We will see you guys and girls on the mats.